In this video, I'm going to share with you the difference between choosing between a one-person tent and a two-person tent when you're doing solo backpacking, hiking, and climbing. This question was submitted by a viewer, Muhammad Kashif Javed or Javed. Please forgive me if I mangled your name. Muhammad asks, I am new to camping and want to get started out. Can you make another video on a one-person versus two-person tent? Some people suggest using a two-person tent, even as doing solo as a two-person tent is more spacious. We want to know from your experience. Thank you very much, Muhammad. And also, please leave a comment below. If I can get to it and I can possibly answer it correctly, I will definitely try and answer your question. So leave a comment in the description. So here we go. Tent number one over here, this is the MSR Hubba. I use this in Greenland in the Arctic, above the Arctic Circle. Worked perfectly fine for me because I was backpacking, hauling it on my back. As you can see the size of this, it's literally a bathtub or a coffin size, as I like to call it, because if the bear comes, it's the coffin. All right, okay, that didn't work too well. The next one is my Hilleberg Namage 2. This thing I used in Antarctica and Denali. Where else have I used this? Oh yeah, Yellowstone in the winter. Don't underestimate Yellowstone in the winter. Plenty of space in here. And then if I want to go super, super crazy, I go with this inexpensive Coleman tent. It's the Sundowner, I think it is. I'll put a link in the description. This thing is a three-person tent. Absolutely palatial, love it. So 5 factors to consider when you're looking at a one-person versus two-person tent. The first thing is weight. If you're purely backpacking and you're hauling that sucker on your back, you have to decide between comfort and space versus weight on your back, because that weight on your back is everything. Just a couple more pounds or a few kilos on your back can take you from being able to do 20 miles a day to doing 15 miles a day, or if you even haul even more, you only end up being able to do 10 miles a day or about 16 kilometers a day. If you've got a 50-pound pack or a 23, 24 kilo pound pack on your back, or like 24 kilo bag on your back, you are going to do far less distance when you travel. And that is a real challenge. So the weight is the number one consideration when you're looking at tents. Now, the second is internal space. How much do you actually need to sleep versus what are you going to do for your cooking, your toilet activities, your brushing your teeth and everything? So look at this tent here. I mean, it's super tiny. Took it to Greenland, totally worked above the Arctic Circle. Do I recommend using a single wall tent in the Arctic? No, don't do that. But did it totally work for me being able to cook, being able to boil water, melt snow, sleep, handle some storms and everything? Totally worked out. Was there much space for me to do anything? No, I'm literally sleeping like this. I mean, it's totally super cramped. But the weight, because I was already hauling a 50-pound pack, because I had 10 days, or it was 11 days of food, and I was going 100 miles or 160 kilometers, it is a big, big factor. The next thing, number 2, is internal space. Are you going in the summer, the fall and spring seasons, or the winter? The winter, boy, oh boy, that is a big challenge. Sometimes actually in the winter, I just use my tarp tent. If you want the ultimate space, this is my Integral Design Sill Nylon tarp tent. I have infinite space. You can literally go to your local big box store, get a big tarp and have huge amounts of space. It does have some downsides there, but there is nothing like the space of a tarp. So the internal space, again, the question comes up, are you going to be cooking? Are you going to be boiling water? How many storms do you expect? There's a lot of factors to consider in that internal space. Again, I was in Greenland in blizzards and storms in this tiny one-person tent, and a lot of it has to do with your mentality and how much you're willing to handle and put up with and be careful with. The number 3 factor that you need to consider is the external footprint. This 3-person basic 2-pole dome tent actually has a smaller footprint than my 2-person Hilleberg Namage. Why is that? Well, come to find out that this thing is an expedition tent and it has a lot of guidelines, and because it's a tunnel tent design, you have to eat up a lot of space. That thing eats up, was it 12 feet or 14 feet? It's huge. It's like 4 meters of space around that tent. This little tiny tent here, no problem. The the MSR Hubba, boy, that is super easy. It takes up very minimal space and it's easy to deal with. So if you believe you're going somewhere where things are cramped and you don't have a lot of space to work, that is a big, big factor. The next factor, number 4, is, let me shut this off because things are going to go loud. And the number 4, that's bright. The number 4 factor is handling in storms. The smaller the tent, the easier it is to manage putting up in a storm, but that other factor is how well does the tent handle storms. The MSR Hubba and the Seed House and the Big Agnes little mini tents and all those are not designed to handle 4 weather conditions. That said, when I've guidelined this tent down, it does okay. I have seen people on Denali in tiny little one-wall tents, and they did just fine. But boy, if you're at 17,000 feet and that wind is ripping 50 miles an hour or 90 kilometers an hour, you're going to be in real trouble. And the 5th factor is durability. This pure mesh tent is not terribly durable. It is not designed for severe weather at all. This big 3-person tent, the Coleman from the big box store, it can't handle any weather that's windy either. It can handle some rain, no problem, but that is not really designed for any weather other than warm, comfortable camping. I have used this in the winter, but this thing, the Hilberg Namage, these class of tents, they're pretty much designed theoretically for 100 mile per hour or 160 kilometer per hour wind. So those are some of the factors that you have to consider when you're looking at what type of tent to bring. I talk about some of these factors in Adventure Expedition 1, my book on how to climb and hike and adventure. Highly recommended. Check out links below in the description. And also, that kind of gives you hopefully an idea of what you need to take care of. So again, please leave a comment in the video section and I'll try and answer your question if I can. Please check out my books in the description. Antarctic Tears, Lost at Windy Corner, Adventure Expedition 1, How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold, the Jackson Hole Hiking Guide, the Most Crucial Knots to Know, and the 2024 Total Eclipse Guides, as well as check out my shows Antarctic Tears and World Beyond. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more information like this. Thank you.